Today's episode of Corporate Access has spotlighted a company with big ambitions. Digital Encode is aiming to become one of Africa's unicorns in the cybersecurity and governance risk compliance landscape. The company was set up 21 years ago with a vision to become the #1 information technology assurance company in Africa. So how far along are they on this target? Co-founder Dr. Obadare Peter Adewale tells me about the scope of their work and their mission to help businesses protect information assets. I'm Kenneth Bomo. All right, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Obadare. We're here talking about Digital Encode, your company, which you're a co-founder of. And I'd like you to speak to more or less the company's origin, the mission driving this company, and how you're positioning Digital Encode for the African market.
Digital Encode, we're in our 21st year. Yeah, so that means we started business in 2003, right? So essentially Digital Encode, in a very simple way, I would just say Digital Encode is a multi-award leading professional service firm in cybersecurity, governance, and risk and compliance. And we've been doing this for quite some time. And I can bet you to say that we are the largest and the finest cybersecurity and GRC firm, out of Africa because of some of the things that we've done over the years, honestly. And our work speaks for itself, right? So, though initially we didn't start out as a cybersecurity company, we used to be a Cisco partner, supporting IT infrastructure. But we discovered a need, because while building infrastructure, there's a need for those infrastructure to be secured. And that was actually, I think around 2007. In fact, from 2005, the vision started that, there's a need to secure Africa infrastructure. And that's the need where we're actually meeting. At those days, if you want to do security assessment, you have to find someone from abroad, and that was the need. So we moved from being just a Cisco partner to a full-fledged integrated leading professional service firm with different services in terms of penetration testing, vulnerability management, and of course compliance, implementing compliance standards, governance framework, for all our customers in Africa.
Yeah, but what has that journey been like for Digital Encode, trying to penetrate into the African market as an indigenous player?
Cybersecurity is value driven. So what we did was we discovered that we need to get some form of certifications. While we know the job, practically speaking, that the only way people can believe in us, and in 2007, 2008, we became the first EC Council licensed penetration tester in Africa. I actually went for the exam, I wrote the exam, and I think it changed the dynamics. Don't forget, we know the job, practically speaking, because there's always this argument in the cybersecurity world that it's not just about certification. Yes, I understand, but sometimes you need a leverage, right? Especially, you imagine that time, I think I was just barely over 30, right? So we were young, right? And people were wondering, I don't have gray hair, and you say you want to do, because cybersecurity has to do with assurance. So it is synonymous to some form of, you must have gray hair, you must have big beards, you must look, there is that assumption. But what that certification did was because it's the leverage. So it transformed, the way people look at us, and being the first cybersecurity, licensed penetration tester out of Africa. Because now
you cut a niche for yourself as a company.
Absolutely.
And now trying to get into how you're now approaching the market. Now that at least you've gotten your certifications in place, and now trying to get yourself known in the market here. Speak to how Digital Encode is aligning its own IT solutions with your strategic business objectives.
We told ourselves from the beginning, because our vision was very clear, that we want to be the #1 information technology assurance in Africa. And in doing that, because that was an audacious goal, that was an audacious vision, because being #1 means that you can't be theoretical and because that's the way we are positioning ourselves to say that, okay, the knowledge of our business, the knowledge of the business of cybersecurity and GRC, I can tell you, everywhere we go, it actually singles out because we know, in fact, our mantra as at that time was to say information security made simple.
All right, now, so let's get to the area of your processes now. And I'd like you to walk me through how you ensure that there's thorough assessment of these security risks across the various industries where you are engaging your partners.
At Digital Encode, we have a unique methodology in which, and that unique methodology is rooted in our practical approach to address the subject of cybersecurity. Because proud to when, there's a lot of history around how we came in, the need that we saw in the industry, because, in fact, proud to when we started cybersecurity, what was happening, especially in Nigeria, was that people come, and one of the services that we're in is actually penetration testing. So, and there is vulnerability assessment. So that time, people were coming out to Nigeria, they just run a tool, right? The tool, vulnerability assessment tool, generate the report and just give it to the customer, and the customer get lost because there is this huge report. So I'm like, what am I going to do with this report? So, and that was how we changed our narrative. That's it. But there is a distinction between vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. While vulnerability assessment is identifying the weaknesses across your IT infrastructure, your databases, your applications. In fact, let me just simply say people, process, and technology, because cybersecurity is not just a technical issue. So while you're identifying those weaknesses, penetration testing then goes further to say, all these weaknesses, can they be exploited? And that was what we did. So we were demonstrating to people that say, this risk, this weakness within the system can be exploited by a cyber criminal. And that cyber criminal, yes, generally they call them hackers, script kiddies, all those, the bad guys, right? If there is a way to just generalize that. And then because when I'm saying bad guys, is it can be an external actor or an internal actor. Because most of the time when we talk about hackers, we tend to think it's just an external, because there could be a disgruntled employee as well that can look at weaknesses within your processes, within your people and the technology infrastructure, and then exploit it, to work against you. I can tell you, arguably, we started the concept of remediation engineering in Nigeria, and then of course across Africa, because remediation system engineering is when we identify vulnerability that can be exploited. We sit down with the customer, and that's our unique methodology to tell them that, see, there is not enough to identify these vulnerabilities. You need to close it. That's what remediation means.
Dr. Obadare Peter Adewale also tells me about what he thinks will be the next big challenge for the cybersecurity and governance risk compliance space in Africa, and how organizations can better prepare for this future.
For Digital Encode, we've set up an audacious goal for ourselves to be the first cybersecurity unicorn out of Africa. And in doing that, we've been building human capacity. We are the largest cybersecurity team and the finest cybersecurity team, because in building human capacity, I can tell you, even as an individual, as I call myself the Chief Visionary Officer of Digital Encode. Today, I can tell you I arguably the most credentialized cybersecurity professional in Africa. I have over 58 professional certification. And I can tell you across all the teams too, most of the teams. So we're building capacity, right, to make sure that we're helping all our customers. Because the trend landscape is growing, hence the need for capacity building. Because now with the emergence of artificial intelligence, it's changing. In fact, while all of those, ransomware, phishing, account takeover, a lot of threats that we've known. Honestly, there's a deep fake. I don't know.
So are you saying AI is the next big?
Believe me, in cybersecurity, is scary because, and it's already happening. In fact, in Hong Kong, there's a company in Hong Kong, and I think early this year that lost over $25.5 million to deep fake. So I think AI will change the landscape of cybersecurity, though positively also. So it's a situation about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right, I guess it's more work for guys like you to catch the bad guys out there. But thank you so much for your time, Mr. Obadare.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
All right.
Pleased to, yeah.
All right. To achieve its ambitions and vision to become the #1 information technology assurance company in Africa, people will have to be at the heart of its strategy. So how big is Digital Encode on grooming the talent that will drive this vision?
Yeah, at Digital Encode, you don't just come and work for the company. The company also impacts you positively. They give back to you as a worker. So as a staff here, you have access to a lot of certifications that are competitive even outside of the shores of Nigeria.
We have a policy in this company. We don't do any form of discrimination. Any gender discrimination is strictly prohibited. As long as you have a zeal towards cybersecurity, you're intentional about your growth, and you're a good team worker, you can definitely be part of our team.
One of the ways Digital Encode has impacted me in terms of the knowledge, the mentorship, the career growth, it has really been a journey for me.
One of the things I appreciate about the leadership of Digital Encode is they are not just interested in how you work, they are also interested in your career development. And at Digital Encode here, continual improvement is a big deal.
I started off my journey in the technical aspect of cybersecurity. That's the red team. I'm currently in the blue team as well. And my progress over the 4 years and few months, I would attribute it to the collaborative environment, to the leadership, the mentoring of the bosses in the organization, and even to my team members that make my work really easy and help me always want to keep learning.
So at Digital Encode, our vision is to be the #1 information technology assurance company in Africa, and our mission is to help individuals and businesses achieve their full potential by protecting their information assets. So somehow Digital Encode has been able to embed this mission and vision into our everyday lives as workers here, into the work we do. Digital Encode has been able to embed this spirit of success in our projects, in the work we do.
And this brings us to the end of the coverage of Digital Encode and their strides in the cybersecurity and governance risk compliance landscape in Africa. I'm Kenneth Bomo. Thank you so much for watching.